So, where to start? To be honest, not really any different than what I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, more than a couple of weeks with My Hero Academia. What is there really to say at the start of each video? We're back to what we were doing before, which is just more fighting, and people can complain all about that as they like, but in a shonen action anime where there's going to be a lot of fights, you're gonna have to expect that. But I can understand for some people that seeing so much fighting repeatedly over and over again and kind of have it be the way that it's done in this format just wasn't really for them, and I can understand why a lot of people weren't enjoying it and are probably really happy that now it's like we can calm down for like a few episodes. I don't know, just for me it's still all about like the character growth and the character moments within the fights instead of just the fights themselves, even though there is a lot of fighting, but there is also a lot of character growth. So seeing characters do stuff that they weren't doing before, like seeing Mineta actually be kind of useful in the environment that he was in and actually doing stuff and actually contributing in some sort of way more than what I was expecting him to be able to do, so was actually kind of entertaining, and I really like that. Of course, throwing in a gag that fits within his character, which makes sense, and then Mina being always pretty useful in a fight with what she's capable of is always interesting to see as well. And then, of course, what I've been saying for weeks on end now, seeing Class B being as capable and unique as they are, that's also very interesting to see as well. Monoma just being a fucking insufferable prick is always just kind of hilarious, but kind of annoying at the same time. And then Shinso just being more of what he's doing, right? Improving and learning that he still has room to grow and room to change who he is and still become better by the end of this whole thing in his fight with Midoriya, which, speaking of which, we actually see more of what Midoriya was trying to do, not really trying to do, but more what he had going on in the previous episode, which was unlocking a new power, or a new quirk, I guess you could say, through One For All, through one of the previous wielders of One For All. And I said this last week, but I think that's very interesting in concept, because I think it makes sense that you could potentially maybe use their quirks by having One For All passed down to you, because One For All is a very mysterious thing, and it's kind of similar in certain aspects as to All For One, and that seems that's going to be how next week's episode is going to have to tie in, like how is he able to use any of these powers, and there's supposed to be apparently 6 more after this new one that he just got, which I want to point out as well. I also really like the fact that he wasn't able to use it all too well and not for too long, because of course his body has been accustomed to what he's been using it for this whole time, so to have suddenly a whole brand new quirk thrown to him out of complete nowhere at this random moment, of course he's not going to be able to use it for that long or too well, and I think it makes sense that he's able to only have it out for like a few seconds, and then of course his body's going to have to take the toll that it does because he hasn't done any proper training with it. But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that he has this new power, and he's gonna be able to have something new to work with, and I really like that. I really like that he has something new to work with instead of just throwing punches and throwing kicks and finger flicks and shit and doing high pressurized attacks and stuff and super high power moves, stuff like that. I just think it's interesting that now he has something else to work with, and that's going to make his fights a little bit more interesting depending on what other quirks he also gets as well, which I don't know what they're going to be, and I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I'm not going to do it. Other than that, though, I just think the character moments from what we had in this episode and after the fight was over, I thought was fun. And it seems like Shinsa's going to be getting into the hero course just off of what Aizawa said in the episode, which, you know what? I think that's super cool. I think it's cool that we got this character who was already pretty interesting in certain aspects get more of a spotlight, and I'm really glad that he's here. So that's all I really have to say about the episode. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I think the character moments, like I've been saying, are really good, and I think that's like the most important thing that you have to focus on is just character growth and just interactions between one another. Those are one of the best parts about this show, and seeing characters grow and develop and change is always very interesting. So that's pretty much it. That's all I really have to say. I really liked it. Go watch it. Having a couple episodes just to kind of cool off from the fighting is going to definitely be useful, because I think some people, including myself, are pretty fatigued from all the fighting, despite not doing any of the fighting in hindsight. But still, sometimes it's cool to just kind of chill out from doing the fights. Sometimes you just want to see characters sit down and I don't know, drink a cup of sake. I don't know. I don't give a fucking shit. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.